I don't know exactly how that goes in that pyramid, but
I don't
but
either,
they're
because I know-
high up. So
Aren't
the only thing is USL 1.
Okay.
I don't know if that's higher or the same.
So
So it's like, but
So-
there's this crazy pyramid, of course.
USL Championship, that's one. That's the top, right?
Yeah.
And then USL 2, which is like
Yeah.
FC Buffalo.
Yeah,
And then NPSL
Yeah.
underneath it, and then
yeah,
what is it? UIS or
yeah.
what?
But this is already one of the problems, of course.
Yeah. There's
Now, why is there no regular pyramid? But
Yeah.
where whomever USL or US Soccer or MLS just says,
It's because
all right, this is how it's gonna be.
MLS dictates everything.
Yeah. But that's
And
because US Soccer doesn't do anything.
Yeah, and they allow it, and
Yeah.
they don't do anything for youth development either.
No.
They contracted it out. U.S. Soccer was founded in like 1913. U.S. youth soccer didn't start until the 70s.
Yeah.
And they contracted it out. U.S. Soccer didn't actually create its own league until the DA in 2007.
Yeah, and why didn't they just continue with the DA and have a girls' DA?
Yep.
And to me, they should have said, if you don't play in the girls or the boys' DA, you can never be called up for the U.S. national team.
Right. And U.S.
But
Soccer.
this is,
U.S. Soccer made a huge mistake not doing the girls at the same time as the boys.
Yeah.
Because they said, oh, well, we've always been good on the girls' side. We don't need to.
Yeah, well, that's a big mistake.
We don't need to do it. And
And then the rest of the world started to play women's soccer.
Yep. And then that opened the door for the ECNL in 2009 and U.S. club soccer.
Yeah.
And now they dominate everything.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
In the Netherlands, not long ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there were maybe 30,000 girls that played soccer, girls and women. Right now, it's about 100,000. All right? So, and see where they are. A couple of weeks ago, they were better than the U.S. when the Netherlands played the U.S. The Netherlands should have won that game. What you can see still, that the physical part, but also the experience, and the Netherlands scored an own goal to make it 1-1, and then, but...
How is the pro?
How
is pro set up over there? Because when Carissima went over and when Marcy went over to Iceland, they would say that there would be like 17-year-olds on the professional team because there's no college soccer.
No.
Right?
So it's just like the club system. Just like with the men, there's only on the boys' side, there's only the club system.
Is there promotion and relegation over there on the women's side?
Yeah. But it's in the Netherlands, it's a little bit different because it's so small.
Yeah.
Like when you look at the Dutch national team, only the youngest girls, like the 17, 18-year-old talented girl, still plays in the Dutch Eredivisie. But as soon as you're 19, 20 years old, you go to England, play for Arsenal or Chelsea, or you go to France, play for Paris Saint-Germain or Lyon or whatever, or to Germany. So because of course the market is really small in the Netherlands. So in the other countries, they pay the girls a lot more money. So that's why they go out. But they go through the youth system, and it's very interesting because... if you are a good female soccer player, you're 15 years old, and you can hang on with the boys, you play on the boys team. So, you have boys teams, that's 10 boys, but the center midfielder is a girl. Because she's good enough. Yeah. So they want her to play under that pressure and under that, physical challenge and, that kind of stuff. So,
Where we would never allow that.
No.
No, because
but
we used to with me and him.
Why not? And why not? That's the same. Is that when you have some kids are really small. You have a 10-year-old who is tiny. He's a nice little soccer player, but is tiny and gets run over on the biological calendar. Maybe he is physically only 8. Right. Why can we not say like, hey, we'll put in a request with whomever it is, New York State West, or, hey, this kid, can he play with the U9s?
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Yep.
To make soccer better. But that's, the big picture stuff, like let's make soccer better and let's make it more fun for everybody. that big picture stuff is not there a lot of time.
What do you think about the dual card stuff? Like being able to play for multiple clubs at the same time, because like we have a bunch of Clarence kids that also play at Flash, or also play Stallions, or also play like FC Buffalo.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
When I got here in 2015, this is my 10th year. I was shocked by that.
Yeah.
Because in Michigan, was never a thing.
No.
It wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
You couldn't be registered on 2 separate clubs.
Yeah.
And then I get here and it's like, wow, this is like 1995 again.
Yeah. It's, I feel you can go 2 ways with that. If the kids want to play more soccer, go ahead, play more soccer. On the other hand, what you get is because there is no good two-way thing going, whereby these travel clubs say to their 1 or 2 kids that should be playing at a higher level, that should be playing, practicing more, have better coaching. They're not going to say, hey, you should go to the Stallions or you should go to the Flash, because I want to keep, my best U10s on the team so I can win my U10 league that really nobody cares about. So that's the problem. So the only way to get now to, to get there is when you have dual carded and you can say like, hey, we can you can still play with your Clarence team or your Amherst team or your, but you can also, you still playing Premier too. It's complicated, all that stuff.
It is.
Like you have that, I mean, you can't do that anywhere else in the world. Things like that.
Right, and there's other rules here that when I got here just aren't allowed in most other states.
No.
For instance, if you coach U18 girls and then you coach a high school team as well, and you have more than 4 kids from your club team on your high school team, you can't coach. You can't coach. You have to choose one.
Yeah.
Because of like nepotism and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's all around here as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's or where, you are a coach at one club and you don't like what this club is doing, and you can just go to another club and take the whole team.
And coaching that's another thing that's not allowed, is leaving and coaching in the same age group the following year.
Yeah. That should not be allowed.
It shouldn't be allowed.
No, because
that's crippling.
Yeah, because then you have the charlatan coaches who just always want to do their own thing. It's not helping soccer.
Think about it. In some instances, it ruins 2 clubs.
Oh, yeah.
Because think about this. When GPS folded, and their boys teams were very good, very competitive.
Yeah.
Well, instead of going off and starting their own thing, they go over to Flash, and now all Flash's A teams become B teams.
Yeah.
So you lost GPS, but you also, for that time, you kind of like wrecked the boys' side on Flash. It got better. Because you had more talent and probably better coaches. But hey guys, thanks for watching this episode of the I Hate Soccer podcast. If you feel stuck in your recruiting process, we created a guide that includes feedback from 15 college coaches and 10 current college soccer players. Inside this guide, you'll find out what really works in recruiting, from showcases, ID camps, highlight reels, and more. Check it out at playmakertraining.com/recruited.
Yeah.
It's still like
it's not right. It's
all
just
those
not right.
families that have been there and were loyal for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Like,
and that coach, so because we've all seen it. It happened to us too. He's not happy with how your club is run for usually selfish reasons. They go to the other club and then they stay there for a year or maybe 2 years, and then there is something else, and then they go to a third club, and then they're unhappy there, and then they go to the 4th club. What are you doing?
Yep.
Why is this so important to you?
Right.
I mean, are we taping this?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good, excellent. All right, because this is,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, I love it when coaches rip on kids for doing the exact same thing. They rip on the parents. They say, "Oh, there's no loyalty. You're jumping and you're club hopping." Yeah. But then coaches will do the exact same thing. It's like, well, can we?
It's very interesting to me, because you always people complaining about the men's national team, okay? And we're not succeeding, we're not winning, we haven't won a World Cup yet.
Right.
Well, there's not too many countries that won a World Cup, so first of all, calm down a little bit over there. We've been in 3 finals, all right? Just so calm down a little bit there, but why are all these other countries so successful? Because they all have a pyramid system. Yep. The Soccer Association dictates everything. The German Soccer Association, the French Soccer Association, the Dutch Soccer Association, the FA, the English Football Association, in Australia, and everywhere else, they dictate everything. Okay? So, and the goal of that, or the idea behind that, is that the best possible development, let's develop, get the best possible soccer development, and then we're pushing the quality up and up and up, and then in the end, it goes into the men's national team or the women's national team. In the Netherlands, for example, if the Netherlands will ever win the World Cup, everyone in the Netherlands will take credit for that. Everyone will be thanked for that. So at the top, they will thank all the amateur clubs because we all helped, or they, all right, push up towards the top. Absolutely. Instead of, I'm going to hold on to my kid because now we're in a U10 league,
or I'm taking
at
credit.
Buffalo West New York.
Yeah, or I'm taking credit, or...
Yeah.
I knew...
And it's people that complain about that. I see them on Facebook complain about this. But you're actually part of the problem with starting your own little U16 Premier team. Oh, we're going to be Premier. No, you got 6 Premier players. Right. All right. Send them to the Premier clubs and just be the best travel and house league club that you can be.
Right.
Because you cannot do that all.
And be okay with being a feeder, too.
Yeah, exactly. You should be proud of being a feeder.
Yeah. And everybody just was, like you said, hold on to their own kids, and then they rip on the level of the other team, like the GA, the girls academy, right? And especially on the boys' side, let's talk about the boys RNY or Empire United, whatever what they used to be.
RNYs, yeah.
People in Buffalo would rip on RNY because they always lose. And I'm thinking to myself that I've had a lot of DA boys back in Michigan that would play against like Josh Sargent and played against Christian Pulisic and played against those guys. And you're ripping on that level, but like you should want to be at the highest level so that you're helping develop them by putting forward like a good product and wanting to be competitive against them. Like you said about the pyramid where everybody feels a part of it. Yeah. Here, nobody feels a part of it.
Nobody feels part of anything.
Because we have different governing bodies. Yeah. We're the only country that I can think of that we have different governing bodies for youth soccer. You have USYSA, you have you have US club soccer, and then you have AYSO, whatever.
They all got different things going on. Yeah.
And they're all competing.
Yeah. Well, and also because everything's money. Yep. Okay? In the rest of the world, you don't start a soccer club or a sports organization to make money. You don't have that. And that's, of course, a huge problem here. And now, of course, and ECNL, on the girls' side is, of course, the big thing, blah, 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 until somebody else comes along in 3 years or 5 years or 10 years and like, no, this is much better. And then clubs jump. And now this is, the new hit. And then there we go. Yep. And then that's going to be the new hit for about 10 years. And then we'll go over here because it's a money thing too. It's a way to make money.
Is the MLS next coming back and trying to do something with the girls? I saw something about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah. The Girls Academy is going to be
MLS
connected. Yes, okay. It's going to be connected. So,
is it going to be connected with the NWSL or?
I don't know. Probably.
It should be.
It should be. There should be. Again, it should be going towards one pyramid. But that's the problem. And another thing is, of course, this whole platform thing. Okay, where people think I have to play for this platform, because that's best for me.
Mm-hmm.
No. The best environment. What is the best training environment? What is the best day-to-day environment?
Yep.
That's where you should go.
Yep.
Because recruiting and being recruited by colleges, college coaches, all right, really has nothing to do with the platform. The coach is, maybe for the top player, when you go to the big ECNL showcase or a big MLS Next showcase, all right, coaches will be there and will look at the top players, blah, blah, blah. But the work has to come from the kid.
Mm-hmm.
The kid has to want to become a college soccer player, and then once they're playing at a premier level, or or maybe at an ECNL or an MLS, you still have to reach out to those coaches. You have to do the work.
Yeah.
The coach is not going to do the work for you.
No.
You have to do the work. So you have to put those videos together. You have to reach out to these coaches, to the schools that you are interested in.
Yep.
Not like, waiting for this coach to approach you, and then, they don't even offer what I want to do, but, I want to play there.
Mm-hmm.
No, you have to do the work. That's what it comes down to for 95% of the kids.
Yep.
You have to do the work. That has nothing to do with your platform.
Right.
Has nothing to. You have to do. And what you see in our club last year, I coached the 2006s.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we were in the GLA. We had a nice team. The girls got better and better over the years. And I have a bunch of girls playing Division 3, a bunch of girls playing Division 2, and there is one that ended up in the Division 1 school. We went to tournaments in the regional area,
mm-hmm.
because 95% of the kids from Western New York go in the regional area. They're not going to Arizona. They're not going to Florida. They're not going to California. All right? So just use common sense in those situations,
mm-hmm.
And again, for the top, I totally understand. All right, that you go to these college showcases. But when you're not top, what are you doing spending thousands of dollars in a weekend to go to a college showcase where nobody will look at you? And then you end up at a school in Western New York. So it's not about the platform, it's about the daily environment. What are they doing with you every day?
Mm-hmm.
All right, what development plan do they have in place? How are the coaches treating you? Are they making you love soccer? Did you become a soccer fan for life when you were playing there? All those things are way more important than that platform.
Absolutely. And I've been having several of these conversations with some of our college players, and our happiest college players are the D3 players and the D2 players, and there's a couple of happy D1 players.
Of course.
But for the most part, they're having some struggles.
Yeah.
Because they're fed their entire career that this is the pathway, this is going to be elite, and then it's almost like they go off to college. They didn't realize how much time they're going to spend with this coach. Mm-hmm. And then things go wrong. Yeah. The relationship deteriorates, and now they're stuck with okay, I just got cut, or I need to enter the transfer portal, or I just quit.
Or they
just quit.
I would be very interested to see if someone ever did research on, okay, after their first year, they went to this Division 1 school or they went to the Division 2 school, all right? After that first year, what happens there? Are they still playing there? Did they transfer out? Yep. Are they sticking with where they are? Are they not playing soccer at all anymore?
Right.
It would be very interesting to see what the percentages of that are, of that pushing to these schools, and instead of what is the right fit for me? Where should I go?
Yep.
You know, and where do I get to play? Because, you know, I always had a saying, what do you want? You want splinters in your butt from sitting on the bench, or do you want to play?
Yep. And the 28 player rule or whatnot, that's gonna, it hurts players in the now. You know, some players are gonna have to decommit, and some players are getting cut. In the long term, I think it's going to be good for the sport because I think it's going to have a trickle-down effect where, you know, smaller rosters on D1, that means that there's going to be more D2 players or more quality players that don't stick their nose up to D2 because there's a D1 or bust mentality. 1,000%.
Yeah.
And going back to your, do you think promotion and relegation at the top tier could fix all of this? I've always thought that if we went to a promotion and relegation team or a tiered system and every club had a pro team, like you guys are doing in the NPSL.
Yeah.
And you see, imagine Stallions can promote into USL 2, and some of the worst teams in USL 2 will move down, and then money comes into play. Where, let's say you play all the way up, and you're USL making real money, the champions or championship making real money, or MLS making real money, and then I can only imagine that would trickle down to the youth system because if the top team is making money. It can go right back into the academy. Yeah. And that's how other countries...
No, exactly. I always feel that not having promotion and relegation, why are you playing sports? That's my first thing. Why are the Buffalo Bisons playing sports?
Right.
I mean, what's the only thing they do is try to develop players so they can move on to major leagues. But it is about nothing. When you think about it, it's about nothing. They can't, if they win a championship, what's the reward for winning a championship? All right, get drunk at a bar one night with the whole team, and then that's it. Because it doesn't matter. You're not going to play in the major leagues. Right. You're also, if you're doing bad, nobody cares. The Sabres, all right? You know, they have done very poor for the last, I don't know how long. Yep. There is no punishment.
They get a top draft pick.
They get a drop. They actually get a reward for being terrible. So the whole, that's not what the idea of sports is to me,
right.
You know? So I also think then what will change is that when you do that you will not have anymore that, you know, people put their really nice little U12 boys team in the B division and win every game 8-0.
Yep.
No, I mean but next year you're playing in the top division. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's how it works. So that pyramid system again, because you have promotion relegation, you know, you're all going to play against equals. Yeah. So if you are on a weaker team, your games are still fun because you also play against weaker teams. So instead of winning one game 6-0 and losing the next game 8-0, you're now all playing 3-2 games, 5-4 games, 0-0 games. That could be really exciting. So, you know, that helps too. You know, those types of things. But they're not, I don't see enough at the local level or the larger level to make soccer better. That's what I don't see. I don't know, you know, for example, all right, you start your Buffalo Western New York League, okay? You start May 1st, whenever, okay? Why not look after 5 games? Okay, are there teams that are beating everyone 6-0, 8-0? Okay, you are now the rest of the season, you're going to play a division up.
Yep.
Okay, it's not a punishment. No, it's better for you to play in more competitive games. If there is a team that loses every game 8-0, just after 5 games say, hey, you know what, guys, you're going to change. And it's not that hard to change the schedules. I mean, come on. That is all goes in the computer. You put in the names, poof, there we are.
Yep.
All right, so that will make soccer better. Can you imagine if you would do that? Because that coach that wins every game 8-0 is going to be PO'd because we were going to win the championship.
Right.
Well, who cares? Nobody cares. Okay, except you, and that's about it. So, how are they trying to make soccer better? Is there a connection with the local soccer, Buffalo, Western New York, or New York State West, and high school soccer? Okay. Is there a connection? Are they helping each other out? Are they supporting each other? And then they will just say, well, that's not what we're here for. Well, it's a big picture. We're here to make soccer better. We're here to have that the kids have more fun playing soccer. Because that should always be the number one thing. Are they having fun playing soccer? Are kids staying? Are kids staying? Are they leaving soccer or are they staying? Well, why are they leaving? Well, they're bored. They don't have fun. Yep. Okay, well, why don't you have fun? Ask them why they don't have fun. All right? We have to fix that,
Yep.
And that's not happening enough. That's how I look at it. No, because it's about winning. It's about, I got to win with my U12 team. Nobody cares, buddy.
Yep.
Nobody cares.
And then at the ECNL level, it's all about the recruitment. These kids are going to showcases at 13 years old, 14 years old. It's like, why is a 2010 freshman boys team in Vegas right now?
What are you doing?
What's the point of that?
What are you doing? I know.
Hopefully,
I'm
maybe
very
play
proud.
some good teams, but
Jason, this is why I am so happy where I am now. As with the guys with Empire Buffalo Stallions, we still mention the name Empire sometimes because then people know who we are.
Right.
And Empire, of course, has a fantastic name in youth soccer throughout America. So it's nice to still be attached to that a little bit. But why am I so happy there and feel good? And we're all like that. Common sense. Why do we do not, we thought about maybe, the platform ECNL, all right, would that be good for us? And it could be good for us because maybe that will attract players and, girls that are maybe, not happy or on a B team somewhere else, they would come over and then, we'll make sure that they are becoming better and better. And, it could help us. But we don't want to take our kids to a showcase in Arizona or in Florida or in California.
Right.
Okay? Because, and it actually makes me sad sometimes when I see when parents, spend all this money to go to all these places and then the kid's a senior and it's going to Nazareth or Geneseo or whatever. And I'm like, you should have gotten an academic tutor and spend the money on that because there's a lot more academic money available than there is sports, soccer scholarships.
Right.
And you could have done a lot of other things with your family. And I know it's fun to go to these hotels and this and that, but we are common sense. And who can do those things? Who can fly to Arizona or to California and Florida?
The wealthy.
Who? Exactly.
I mean, we're talking $10,000 so the club dues, let's call it $3,500, and then all the travel, all the gas money, all the food, everything.
Yeah,
we're talking north of $10,000.
Oh,
10 years ago it was $10,000. I bet you it's closer to 15 to 20 now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there you go again. So what's the
and then multiply it by 5 years.
So why is the U.S. men's team still? Why aren't we better? I actually say we sometimes now.
I love it.
Why are we not better? Because of those things. Because the best soccer players are probably on the west side in Western New York. Those kids can never have a chance. We try. We gave away so much scholarship money this past year, the past couple of years, all right? Because we want to give those kids a chance. But there's a lot of problems with transportation and all those kinds. It's not just like, okay, they can play for free, but now it's all the how can you get there? How can they get when we have a GLA showcase in Canton? How can they be there for 2 nights? All those things. That problem is much bigger than just they can play for free, or we'll help them with their tuition. But that's where the problems are, So I'm so happy that we have kind of a common sense group of people. All right. We're a non-for-profit soccer club. Okay. The other big club here is a business. Okay. It's just how it is. All right. When we were having these meetings about the NPSL team, and then you start to dream a little bit big. Oh, let's say we this is rolling and we start to make money, and we'll probably just we're already happy if we just don't make if it's just even, or we make $500 at the end of the year. But kind of dreaming like, okay, what are we gonna do when this is really explodes? And we're not talking to each other like, you know what, we should get a condo in Florida with the whole staff, and then you can go there for 2 weeks, you can go there for 2 weeks. No, the first thought is then we can put it back in our youth program and we can lower the tuition fees. That's the first thought.
Absolutely.
That's why we
trickle down.
And that makes us a little bit different.
Right. And it's this, and I mean, big picture, it's that promotion and relegation, and it's also the solidarity payments and training compensation. Mm-hmm. Imagine you did have one player that really made it.
Yeah.
And then Sporting Kansas City has to pay the Stallions a fee because that kid was from 12 to 18 with the Stallions.
Yeah.
And imagine what you guys could do with $250,000 when Yedlin from one of the Washington clubs went over to Tottenham. It MLS blocked the payment. It wasn't Whitecaps. I forget who it was, but they were supposed to make $275,000 to $500,000.
Yeah.
How many coaches' salaries can you pay with that?
How much you can put back
tuition?
in your youth program?
You could build a soccer facility with that money.
Yeah.
And
I know.
It's
it was great because I was very lucky. I played with some fantastic guys. I was okay, but I was lucky there was some younger guys that were fantastic. One of them was Jaap Stam. Okay. Big. So Jaap went from our club to PEC Zwolle, then he went to Cambuur, then he ended up at Willem II and then PSV Eindhoven. From PSV he went to Man United. From Man United he went to Lazio Roma. From Lazio Roma he went to AC Milan, and from AC Milan he went to Ajax, and then he retired. Every time he went to another club and signed a new contract, a percentage went to my old soccer club.
Yep.
And they poured it all into the facility. They poured it into the youth program.
Yep.
And, it just came back. And because he played for the club for 10 years as a youth player from, age 7 to 17,
yep.
So, of course, you need a reward for that. Why do the big guys get the money while we spend all our time with these kids?
So... I've had this conversation probably 20 times. What is making the kids love the game is really our only reward, because
and it's also our only job.
It is.
It is our only job is make him to love the game,
and
the rest comes after that. But the number one thing is loving the game.
Some clubs, they only care about where their kids are going to college, and could colleges with the day of NIL and actually paying players, could we get to a system where colleges pay solidarity payments to the club?
If I hear that American football players out from high school go to college, get paid millions of bucks.
Yeah.
Of course, there should be money going to the programs that they played for.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. The
compensation fee.
The freshman quarterback that's going to the University of Michigan was paid $10 million. Okay.
So
put that money back in your high school.
5%. 5% of that $10 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one way to solve. And now, is there soccer players that are making a lot of money on NIL?
Yeah.
Some.
Yeah.
But these schools have the money.
Yeah.
Going back to the tiered system, we don't even have it at the youth level. Imagine, and I think that U.S. club soccer is the only capable, I guess, league that could pull it off.
Yeah.
Why not let every single team into the ECNL or whatever? And you could have a 10-tiered system with 100 clubs in each tier.
Yeah.
And then you could do promotion and relegation, 20 teams up, 20 teams down. And you could do a club-wide base. They rank clubs anyway. You could do it a club-wide. You need to have this amount of points or goals for whatever.
Yeah.
And you just move the entire club up. And then everybody has the same schedule.
Yeah.
Because that was a worry if you did it by team.
But I don't want that. Let's start our own league, Jason.
Exactly. That's the problem. That is the problem.
Oh, I'm only in tier 6. Oh, we're going to start our own league because now we're in tier 1. You know.
See, I think it could be a little bit different. I think we could go back to rivalries and be like, I'm not joining them. I'm not leaving this club.
Yeah.
After we just lost to them 2-1, and then we got moved down, and then they moved up, and I'm like, no, let's get back in, and we'll beat them next year.
Yeah.
I think we'd have less movement if there was a tier.
But it could be, things like that could be regional.
Yeah.
Like even regional. So you have New York State West.
Yep.
We're only competing. Every club in New York State West is only competing in New York State West.
Right. I could.
Okay, and then there you go. You can make your pyramid system right there.
I think tiers 10 to probably 4 could all be in state and regional. Then when you get into tier 3, 1, 2, and 3, then we're talking about a little bit more travel.
And in the rest of the world, you're always playing the same teams.
Yeah.
You're always playing the same. I mean, it changes sometimes when there's some relegation and promotion. So let's say 2 teams promote, 2 teams relegate. So 4 new teams come in.
Yeah.
You know. So, if you have, let's say, 12 teams, then you're still playing 8 the same and you're playing 4 new teams because that's how it works every time. So, but that's how... But it's too complicated here. So, we just have to do as a club what we think is the best thing for our kids, all right? Most enjoyable for everyone, for the players, for the families, for the staff. This is how we do it. We don't care about anybody else. We don't look at how other clubs, whatever. This is how we think we should do it, and this is how we do it. And if you like it, you're very smart. Excellent. If you don't like it, please go somewhere else.
Yep.
Please go somewhere else. This is how we do it, okay? We believe in late bloomers, okay? We believe in a kid that's 8 years old. So they talk about player profiles, okay? Our player profile for Zone 1, so U12 and younger is loves soccer, loves to play, loves to compete, and is somewhat athletic. If you have those 3 things, all right, then we have a fantastic start.
Right.
So there's a kid who's maybe not that good at soccer, okay, but he loves playing, and he's competitive. You'll be playing with us because we believe, and the proof is in the pudding, all right, we believe that when you go through our development plan, all right, you become a good player.
Right.
You become a good premier soccer player. And so we don't, so you will see sometimes kids in our program like, wow, that's just kind of like a travel player. And, but that's okay with us because the kid works really hard, loves soccer, and, competes, and is some little bit athletic. He's not in the way when we do activities.
Right.
All right. We'll get there, and that's how we are. And then, you have, and we've had many examples of that. When a kid at U12, when sometimes people are like, I don't understand why he's still on the team, or, stuff like that. And then at U17, he's a captain and a top player.
Yep.
Because there's late bloomers. All right. So, and those are the things. And talent development. All right. Obviously, what is talent? Obviously you are born with something. You're born with something. You look at an 8 or 9 year old, they're born with something.
Yeah.
Okay. There are kids that are 8 or 9 years old. You don't see any talent because it hasn't come out yet. It's there, but it hasn't come out yet. All right. So what you need is a good environment, your daily environment. All right. And a little bit of that, talent, what we think talent is. And then the enjoyment part. Because people always think that enjoyment is like a reward. Oh, when we work really hard at practice, all right, then we get the scrimmage at the end. Yay, we get the scrimmage at the end. No. That yay should be in the beginning of the practice session.
Right.
Because that's when you are excited and happy and ready to go, your brain is open, your heart is pumping. You will learn much quicker, all right, than when you're like, okay, well, I'm just working hard because then at the end we get to scrimmage.
Yeah.
Or we get to do something fun. No. That enjoyment part should already, it's part of development players is enjoyment. All right, so that's how we look at developing players. And, and it's just, and if you're loyal to us, well, we're obviously loyal to you too.
Right.
And it works because people from other clubs are always after our players because they see how much better they got.
Yeah. So there's so many coaches. You're talking about late bloomers.
Jaap Stam was a late bloomer.
How many coaches base players off of their first impression? They'll work with them from 8 to 10, and then they get them back at like 15, and they're like, oh no, that player has always been terrible, or always been slow, or always been whatever. And really, players change.
Yes.
And they get better.
Yeah.
Especially if they love it. If they love the game, that means that they're going to work at home, on the ball, on their game.
Yeah.
And
so this is a big mistake, with talent development that they make, and we're really strict on it. Let's say you have an A and a B team. So your best players are going to be on the A team. Your next group is going to be on the B team. Mm-hmm. That's okay. You just have to make sure that the environment on the B team is exactly the same as the environment on the A team. Because otherwise, if that's not the case, if the A team has the better coach, the more experienced coach, they practice 3 times a week and your B team practices twice a week.
Right.
All right. If that environment is not the same, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because these players on the A team have more training, better training, so they'll get better and better. All right. And these kids that are on that B team, they get a little bit better, but not in the same speed as the A team players get.
Right.
So now this kid is U16 and is still a B team player. Like, you see, I was right about that. He's still an average player. Yeah, because he didn't have the same environment.
Right.
So when we have B teams and that's not really our goal actually, and we can get into that. But if they have the same environment, what happens now is that players from the B team will end up on your A team.
Right.
Because again, talent comes out at different times.
Yep.
Some kid is very average at U8, is the best player. All of a sudden at U12 it comes out, or U14 it comes out, and they're the best players. Mm-hmm. In our club, we where we want to go to because we don't want to be a giant club. Mm-hmm. Okay, because then again, if you become a giant club, you are you're going to be struggling with offering a good environment. Yeah, because you need quality coaches. Are there a lot of quality coaches?
No.
When you have quality coaches, they're going to give him 3 teams. Is he giving now all the attention?
No.
Because it's a lot of work to be a good youth soccer coach. 2 teams is already a lot. Mm-hmm. And now you see 3 teams, okay? So what we want with our club, with Buffalo Stallions, is that at the Zone 1, so U8 through U12, we have 22 to 24 players, okay? They are in the same, they practice together, they do a lot of stuff together, all right? And then once it becomes 11v11, at that, we have just one team.
Right.
That's our goal. Now, if sometimes it can happen, like we have 2 U17 boys teams right now. It just kind of happened. Yeah. But that's not our goal. Because we want to make sure that we can give the best possible environment to every kid in our club. Right. And if we have 2 boys teams at U14, and now there's a coach there they have a coach that's already coaching 3 teams, we can't do that. Right. Then we're not offering that environment that we want to offer. So that's all we want to be. Yep. You know, we just want to have on the boys side and on the girls side in Zone 1 in every age group 25 kids, 22 to 25, that once it becomes 11v11 at U13, we have enough. Yep. And hopefully one day we come to a situation that we will not have tryouts anymore. No, you know that if you play for us, you're already on the team. Now, maybe if a new kid comes in, hey, that's great, or 2 new kids, we'll work that out.
Yep.
If we but that's where we're at, because we want to offer the best possible environment to every kid in our club, and that has nothing to do with winning. All right, or that has nothing to do with like, oh, we got 12 kids at a D1 school next year. No, it has to do with enjoyment, to become the best possible soccer player that you can be. Be a soccer fan for life, and you know, maybe one day give back to the club. Maybe, you know, you're going to be back coaching for us, yep. Or you know, your kids are going to be like, that's what we want.
Yeah.
So, and I think, you know, that's tough. That's tough. You know, it's sometimes tough to be a idealist, okay? Because you can also lie to people and give them all these, ideas that their 10-year-old kid is going to get a D1 scholarship when they play for this certain club.
Yeah.
Well, then you just, you're being lied to, and that's how it is. It's hard. People fall for that stuff.
Yep.
If their team is not winning, they rather take their team to a worse coach and a worse team, but they're winning because they're playing in the wrong bracket, yep. than sticking with they are, even though they're in the best environment. And you run into things like that, So, it's tough.
I remember when I came and met with you guys, with
mm-hmm.
you and Cribs and Kev. How do you develop coaches? How do you guys help make sure that everybody is kind of on the same
page?
On the same page.
Yeah. So, my position in the clubs, I'm the technical director, so I'm responsible for the curriculum, our development for, the lesson plans, and the whole development plan, the periodization. Mm-hmm. All right, and all the coaches that we have working for us are, when they started with us, we sit down with them and we say, this is how we do it, and this is how you have to work. We want you to be your own person, but this, from the soccer technical and tactical part and the physical part, this is kind of how we work, and we want you to follow this line.
Right.
If you can't do that, that's okay, but then you can't work for us. Coaches who were already in the club, all right, we had conversations with them, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time to turn people around and stuff like that. So they all agreed upon following the periodization model, or the development model that we have.
Yeah.
And everyone knows exactly what's coming up and what we're doing, what our style of play is, how our style of play connects to what we're doing at practice, and what we want to see in our games. So, mm-hmm. and it's not like, okay, Rudy is the technical director. He tells everybody what to do. No, it's a two-way thing, you know.
Yep.
And we talk all the time and try to make it better. Those things are, you know, living documents, and every year something changes. It gets a little bit better, or this or that. Mm-hmm. So that's the first part. And then we do coaches education, things on the side. A couple of weeks ago, we had Tim Maines from UB. He works in the business department, and his specialty is like team building and team, team cohesion or team dynamics in big businesses.
Okay.
So he came, and his two sons play for us. And he came and sat down with the staff, and we talked about, you know, what team cohesion is and all those things. And not like, all right, let's sing Kumbaya, Lord, together. But, you know, in your coaching and in the things that you're doing, how does that help or not help your team? Mm-hmm. And you talked about myths, all right, about team building and about success and, you know, those types of things. So we do those things too. Some like, you know, bring in people to, you know, talk about, coaching or things like that. And then, you know, we, like our assistant coaches now, pretty soon they will all do the grassroots coaches. So they're all set up to get their D license. And that is guys that are like playing in college right now are just assistant coaches. Mm-hmm. So they are, you know, getting involved. That we support that. We help them. We pay the tuition for them for the courses, all that kind of stuff.
That's good.
So, you know, because again, it's about the quality. Okay, players deserve good coaching. Players deserve good coaching. All right, and you know, that's what we work on. And I know we're not perfect, and we're not, you know, but we're trying. We're trying really hard to get there. Mm-hmm. You know, so, and, you know, every, so every couple of years, a coach will stay 2, maybe 3 years with their team, and then they move on. Mm-hmm. We also do where every couple of weeks, all the coaches coach another team or practice with another team, so all the players get to know all the other coaches too. Right. So, you know, kind of build the club culture, but also, you know, that if next year, all right, they had Coach Dan for 2 years, now they're going to have Coach Justin, they already know Coach Justin.
Right.
And if they, I love Coach Justin, you know, right. Instead of like, well, we don't know this guy, then, and you know how people are with change, you know, but now it's not really a change. They already know Coach Justin. So we do all those types of things, you know. So, you know, and you need to get like-minded people. That's the biggest thing. You need to get like-minded people. Yeah. And you know, that's hard, okay, because you know how the system was here, and I caught a great quote one time when I was at one of the first soccer coaches conventions, where somebody said, soccer clubs in the United States are a commonwealth of independent soccer teams. And he was just saying every coach just does whatever he wants to do.
Absolutely. It's just a collection of teams wearing the same uniform, but every coach is completely different. Different system, different coaching methods, different style.
Yeah. Can you imagine doing that in school? Just have 25 teachers. Our school is a commonwealth of independent teachers.
No way.
You know, so it doesn't work. And there's no difference between developing the developing part of soccer players and kids in school. We're a soccer school. Right. You know, they're a math and a reading and, and that's why we do. So it's, and it works. It works. If you see the development of our players, you know, where they are when they start and where, you know, after 3 months and after 6 months. And it's all, you know, per age group, you know, and there's different goals, and obviously some team is sometimes a little bit behind. Some teams can be a little bit ahead. Sometimes individual players are a little bit ahead, so they practice up. Some 2011 boys will practice with the 2010 boys. All right, but because we're all using the same development plan, the language is the same. So it's not all of a sudden, and just to simplify, it's like, okay, they play 4-3-3 with the 2011s. Now they go to a coach who plays 3-5-1 or a 3-5-2.
Right.
No, it's the same. So the language is the same and that kind of stuff. So,
because that's the biggest for a player. That's one of the language barrier is so different from coach to coach.
Yeah,
and I could be saying one thing, and they're like, "What does that mean?"
Exactly.
And then they're like, "Oh, you meant this."
Yeah, it's funny, even with like ball mastery stuff, because the one calls it foundations and the other one calls it TikToks. You know what I mean? Or I've heard penguins too one time. They're like, okay, no, let's just call it all foundations. Everybody knows. Pressuring the ball. And of course we stole that term from Arno IFC, from Empire. Blitzing. So
Blitz.
putting pressure on blitz. And so we use we with our youngest kids. When we do sometimes a dribbling activity or whatever. And they have to switch balls. We already introduced kind of the word blitz because you're going for the ball. You know what I mean? Things like that.
Absolutely.
So you have to develop those things. I think this will all pay off what we're doing, and it's it just takes a little bit of time sometimes. You know what I mean?
How many teams do you guys have right now?
We have, let me see, 8. I think we have 17 premier teams right now, from U8 to U8 through U17s.
And then what are you doing here on Monday nights?
So Monday nights we have a Junior Stallions program that's kind of for 6 and 7 years old.
Yeah.
So in couple of different locations. So here in Clarence with you guys at PlayMaker, at Elmwood Franklin in the city.
Yep.
And then at Sportsplex, we run little training sessions for 6 and 7 years old.
So good.
And it's 1 hour, and it's just kind of to people to get to know us.
Yep.
Okay. And train kids, and then kind of already, if we see kids that will fit our profile a little bit, maybe we say, hey, next year, all right, and we call that group, so they are the U8s, we call those the Colts, all right, we'll give everything a name, but and they practice they practice a couple times a week, and then go to some 4v4 tournaments, and they also play as guest players in our U9 teams at Sportsplex.
Okay.
So it's like a slow transition into getting to Premier, So that's what we're doing with the Junior Stallions programs, and it's it's exploding because I had to call you do you have more time for us? Because so people love what we're doing, and it's all focused with the ball and just having a laugh and running around, and there you go.
And I love the multiple locations. So then you're casting a wide net. You have to.
Yeah, and again, clubs don't have to be afraid of us, because we're not stealing 25 kids from you.
I know. It's crazy.
On your U10 boys, there's one boy that we would like to have play for us, and he should be playing for us because he needs more soccer, he needs better, and he can still play with you because you have dual carded, but push him on and be proud of that, because we still push on kids to the MLS Next Academy because that's the next step, and we're proud of that. This year we moved up 2 kids again to MLS Next.
Right. That should be celebrated more.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, and so if this kid now goes from the MLS Next and he ends up on an MLS team, that's what we want. The people of, and Abdi Salim is, of course, a great example, who was with the Delaware Soccer Club, okay? And I Michael Collins, all right, who was just a dad coaching soccer, fantastic guy who bought a van, okay? And so these boys, the Abdis and all his buddies, he would pick them up with a van, and they would get from game to game. You know, fantastic. Those are the people that should be celebrated. All right, the Michael Collinses of this world.
Yeah.
And from there, he came to us, to Empire in Buffalo. Then he went to the MLS Next Academy. Then he went to Buff State, Syracuse, and now he was drafted in the MLS.
Yep.
That's and the people at Delaware are really proud of that, and they should be, and we're proud of that, and everybody should be proud of that we helped Abdi, to get there.
Absolutely.
He did 90% by himself, but we helped him with those 10%. And we should just be proud of that.
Yeah.
It's just how it is, Like, I think it's fantastic that Flash has girls that play in the top in Division I soccer. It's fantastic.
Yep. Celebrate them more.
Celebrate them.
Right.
We're not the enemy.
Like, there's one, talking about celebrating, Niagara. Mm-hmm. Your old stomping grounds with Kelsey. Mm-hmm. With Kelsey goes, she almost makes a World Cup roster, and you never hear Niagara say anything about her. Yeah. It's like she never even played there. Yeah. It's like, that doesn't...
Celebrate it.
Absolutely.
Celebrate it. But it's tough sometimes, because look, when we announce that our players are going to play in college, all right, we don't always say like, oh, she played for us or he played for us. No, he played for Amherst Soccer till he was 13, or he played for Delaware till he was 12.
Absolutely.
No.
Talk about the other clubs that
yes.
Like, if a girl goes over to a club at 17 and then in the first 3 months signs a deal to go to wherever,
Penn State,
don't shout out the other club. That's our solidarity payment.
Yes.
That's our solidarity payment.
Doing?
Like, just shout out, be like, hey.
Who cares?
I know.
Who cares?
Because there is no solidarity payments.
No.
That is their only way to gain clout and to market themselves. Yeah. Rather than, if we did have colleges paid solidarity payments, we wouldn't have that issue.
There you go. Yeah, because then they get a 2%, but because they played with the other club for 90% of their youth development, they will get all the money. No,
exactly.
No, and why? I don't understand. I don't understand it. Of course, we want to win, and we have love for our own club, But the biggest love should be for your kids.
Yep.
I had a conversation with my wife today, and she works as a teacher at Ben Franklin, and yesterday she said something like, well, I'm not on team this, I'm on team that. I'm on team Ben Franklin kids.
Yeah.
And that's how it is.
Definitely.
We're on team soccer players, soccer kids, and that's, and that's hard. But, that's why we love what we're doing in our club, because we're all like-minded people.
Yeah.
How
often do you guys do parent education or talk about your system to the parents? That's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on. Yeah. Because when we were meeting, it was like a pod. I went home that day. I'm like, man, that'd have been a great podcast.
You should put a microphone there. I know.
That'd have been a great podcast if you just film that and then just throw it out there. Yeah. Because I learned from that meeting, from what you guys are doing and everything.
Yeah.
So
our coaches at the beginning of the week, so on Sunday or Monday, have to send out an email to the parents of their team to tell them what we're doing this week at practice. Okay, so and then sometimes talk to them. Let's say on so let's say they had a game on Saturday, and in the previous week the topic was transition, attacking to defending. And so in that game, they should have focused that on that topic in the game. Okay, guys, all right, when we lose the ball, how many seconds do we have to win it back? Yeah. Oh, try to win it back in 5 seconds, coach. Yep. Okay, there we go. So then on Monday, little review on what happened in the game. We could have done a little bit better in our 5-second rule. I mean, the guys were I know it was a 7 o'clock game, but, we were a little bit asleep still. And then, so, okay, this week, So we went from attacking to defending. In the next 2 weeks, we're working on defending, and this week it's all about 1v1 defending. So in our game, the upcoming game on Saturday, we will focus on that a little bit more. We will look, so the parents are a little bit informed about like what we work on and what we look for in the games. So they stop looking at the score. Of course, they will always look at the score, but there is something else. There's another success factor in here.
Yep.
And like, all right, yeah. So just think back 6 weeks ago when we did 1v1 defending. All right, how much better did we get? So those sides. So that's an education part. Plus then, and we're actually going to have one in February, again, is for our Zone 1 parents, where I explain what we are doing and, what we think is important and what the parents' role. We talk about that too, of course, what the role of the parent is. So we try to involve the parents a lot. Parents are not the enemy. Parents, they don't want to shoot a hole in their own boat. They want to help out. They want the best for the kids. Yes, there is, out of the 10 kids, there is one parent that's a little bit difficult, all right? But parents are awesome. They want the best for the kids. They want the kids to have fun. And most parents just want their kid to get out of the car at Sportsplex with a smile on their face. And an hour later, when they pick them up again, that they come back with a smile on their face and got sweat on their forehead. That's what 9 out of the 10 parents want. So they're not the enemy. So we try to involve them in the process.
I was at, I think my NSCAA premiere, and Paul Marco was there.
Yeah.
Binghamton.
Yeah.
And he said something profound that has stuck with me ever since. And he said, when you're dealing with parents, you're also dealing with their most prized possession.
Yes.
Which is their kids.
Yeah.
And that's how you have to treat these parents.
Yeah, of
I
course.
cannot believe how poorly some of these parents are treated by coaches.
Yeah.
And it's not really around here too much. I don't see it, but just nationwide
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
And people just complaining about parents. It's like, what do you expect?
Yeah. No, and you have to explain why you want certain things.
You have to
okay,
be transparent.
We don't want parents to sit on the sidelines with practice sessions.
Right.
It's not because we don't like the parents, but it's proven through research and science. All right, that it's better when the parents are not there, because then the kids are freer and they will be more creative and blah blah blah. They're not looking over their shoulder if they make a mistake. So that's what it's for. It's not because we don't like the parents being there.
Exactly.
What do we care?
Yep.
You know what I mean? But it's just better for their development.
Absolutely.
And their individuality and things like that.
I just had this conversation with Carissa, and we're talking about the parent room, because we're talking about maybe repurposing that area. And when we have a lot of kids in here, we love it when the parents are in here and not on the fence line, because the kids are always looking at mom and dad. Did they see that
they
shot?
won't need approval,
because
that's their age a lot of times. Like the approval comes from mom and dad.
When they're in 4th grade and taking a test, or in high school taking a test, are the parent over their shoulder looking at their test answers? No. It's on the kid. And that's one of the first things you said. It's on the kid.
No, exactly.
And it's their game. It's not their game. Or it's not your game. It's their game, and you have to give it to them.
That's why parents, what they say is like, the most dangerous part for a child, for a young athlete, is when they get in the car after a game. Because the first thing mom or dad wants to do, and we're all the same. I probably have done it too. That I'm like starting to tell my son what he could have done better or this or that. It's like no. Hey, I loved seeing you play. All right, awesome job today. You'll get him next time. That's it. Let's go and get ice cream.
Exactly, ice cream.
That's
parents.
It. That's it.
Ice cream.
All you need to do.
Yep.
Then you do the right thing. So that's they have to be very careful with that.
Yeah.
It's their game, and it's so that's
Some of our players just get it you didn't work hard enough.
I know.
What was this? What was that?
Yeah.
And kids aren't going to enjoy the game if they are if they're treated like that right after a game, they're going to be terrified to make a mistake.
It's the same, and it's the same with styles of coaching. You know, the anger coach. You're not effective.
No.
Because they're going to be scared to play. They're going to be scared to make a mistake.
Yep.
You think they like you? All right? They want to play for you at a certain point? No. That's scared. That anger coaching doesn't work. No.
Especially with
positive coaching, that works.
Absolutely.
Be positive. All right? So they make a mistake, who cares? All right? Guys, if we lose, blame me. If we win, it's all on you. There you go.
Yeah. How long have you been in Buffalo?
Since 1994.
94. So, what brought you over?
So
here?
I played. I was goalie for the Dutch National University team.
Okay.
And in 1993, I was in the World University Games here in Buffalo.
Okay.
And that's how I met my wife. So
gotcha.
And my first wife, and always stayed here. Never wanted to leave. I love it here. I always say I'm not an American, but I am definitely a Buffalonian. All right. And I'm more cosmopolitan, I'm a guy of the world, No, but I am a Buffalonian. I'm a Buffalonian. I love it here. I love it here. I think people are fantastic, and yes, I kind of, like, the older I get, the more I start to dislike the winter. Oops. It could be over now. I've seen enough snow, but it is what it is,
Every day it snows.
6-7 years from now, when I retire, I'll be, stay here till halfway January probably, and then disappear for a couple months or so. But I love it here. Yeah. So, and...
so 94.
Yeah.
So you've seen great growth in
soccer. Incredible. I remember it was very strange when I moved out here. There was hardly any soccer on television. But for some reason, ESPN2 had the Dutch Soccer League on Monday night at 11 o'clock. Like, how that happened. And that was right in the time when Ajax, had the best team in the world. The 94, 95 period, 93. That was strange, but that was about it. I remember in 2000, during the Euros were going on in the Netherlands, it wasn't on TV here.
It's wild.
And the Netherlands was playing in the semifinals, and I had so how different times were. I asked my dad to turn the radio on and put the phone by the radio, so I was standing with the phone and then what you see now, it's incredible. It's incredible. The game is, people forget, like, of course, there's a little bit of a hockey town, but soccer in the rest of the United States is bigger than hockey.
Yes.
So
people always ask me, okay, what's the difference between Michigan and here or some other hotbeds in the country? It's like they're older soccer communities.
Yes.
They're in Michigan, they're second, third, sometimes fourth generation soccer players.
Yeah.
It seems like here in Buffalo, a lot of the players, we have a lot of second generation, but we don't have any third generation.
You still run into a lot of dads who say, like, I don't know anything about
soccer. Yep.
And then it's awesome because I've heard this story so many times. The kids love soccer, and then 3 years later, the same dad is telling me, like, I don't know what happened, but Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, I'm sitting on the couch watching Man City against Man United. What happened to me? And and I'm loving it. And, like, there we go. But that's success.
That's doing the job.
That's success.
That's the focus.
Yes, that's success, So I love that stuff. Yeah, so the game has changed a lot. I am worried, though, about the level. I am worried about the level of soccer. Especially in this area. I personally do not see that it got much better over the last 15 years or so. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and because I'm so in it. Maybe if I would have taken, if you take a distance and then come back after a while, I'm like, oh yeah, it's much better. Or maybe I'm just always so that I want it to get better, that I always recognize things that are not going so well. Yep. So maybe I'm very critical. I don't know how you see that, but that's what if I still see how travel teams play at Sportsplex, you know, punting the ball. They can't punt it anymore, but putting the ball down and just hoofing it to the other side of the field and things like that. Goalies throwing everything long, goal kicks taken long, instead of like, no, that's not, because when they watch soccer on television, that's not what you see. And the coach that sits there too, he watches soccer on television, that's not what you see. You know, and it's, so those are little things that I'm still disappointed with. Let's put it that way.
I'm scared that, do you follow Tom Byer at all? The guy in Japan, he's actually from New York, but he is in Japan, and they call him Tom-san over there.
Okay, no.
And he's great at youth development.
Okay.
He's all about soccer starts at home. With mini balls and
playing.
Two.
Oh, I know. Yeah, yes. So, I've seen some of that stuff.
So he always talks about what Japan does and why Japan is so good technically and everything is that they focus on the skill gap.
Yeah.
Where's our top players and where's our bottom players?
Yeah.
Everybody focuses up here on the top players, but really what we should be doing is raising this to push that even higher.
Yeah.
What I see in Buffalo is this.
Yeah. No, I know.
And this is still.
It's funny that you talk about, because you mentioned that, because we talk about that in our club too. It's like very quickly say, we should do something for special talent. Well, we have to do the same thing for the kids on the bottom. Yeah. The environment has to be the same.
Right.
Environment has to be the same. You know what I mean? So
it's hard for coaches to be able to do that, I find. I find that coaches, there's a lot of coaches will do one of two things. They always coach towards the top, or they coach the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you can't do both.
No, exactly.
It's like so in some of our skills classes, we have kids at 4 different levels, ages, and all I said, if you're an older player, don't allow a younger player to outwork you.
Yeah.
And if you're a younger player, prove that you belong to train with these older players, and you could do that in your own team. Yeah. It's like, how good do you want to be? Some of these players, some of the teams that we work with, they put down each other, or they give them a bad pass on purpose. Yeah. Because they want to make that teammate look bad. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Don't you want to be on a good team?
Yeah.
Don't you want good teammates?
Yeah.
So you should be doing everything in your power to make him better, so then you're better. Talent loves talent. And I mean, all the teams that are putting a bunch of players in college, they're all helping each other out and trying to make each other look good so that you get seen.
No, exactly. Yeah.
And maybe I see an issue is that some of these older teams are represented by 12, 13 different high schools. Yeah. These kids aren't friends.
Yeah.
So team building has to be a large part of everything that you do, because it's really, and that's not a Buffalo thing. That is nationwide, because all these kids are traveling. I mean, some of these teams have kids from Rochester and Erie and Canada.
How can you be a
Binghamton.
Team? How can you be a team? Yeah. We, in our Zone 1, because Zone 1 is super important to us. That's where the culture starts, and that's where, that's the foundation of your club, all right? Yeah. All the U12 and younger kids. And one of the programs that we run with them is, how to be a great teammate, all right? And, these different, things that you have to work on or do or and accomplish to be a great teammate. Because if you're a great teammate, again, the enjoyment part goes up. We accomplish things together, and it's not only like in soccer, but also in your classroom you have to be a great teammate, or when people at work have to be a great teammate. And so we feel that it's an important part of the soccer development too. And there's also a me part in become a great teammate. You also, because the us and the me part, because if you make the me part better, you also make your team better. So working on yourself at home is actually good for your team because you're getting better, the team gets better. If all 12 of you are working at home, you're actually being a good teammate because you're making the team better. Yep. So we talk about that a lot too, becoming a great teammate and stuff like that. Those are, important things to us, it's I'm lucky. They, the other guys put a lot of trust in me and how to develop players. I love it. I love working with young players. I'll never forget 10 years ago when I worked with I was assistant with the women's team with the Flash, and in the mornings I was on the field with Abby Wambach and Carly Lloyd and all these people, and Pedro Losa, of course, the other assistant coach, is fantastic. Yeah. But then in the evening, I had to go to Delaware Park and work with 5 years old. Exactly. And I was like, it was just as much fun for me. Exactly. Because I just love it. I love it. And I feel a responsibility to help kids become better soccer players and, become, better little people, or help them, to help them. And soccer has given me so much, some friendships and great memories and things like that. I always feel like I have to give back a little bit, or I want other kids to realize that, get that too, realize that too,
Absolutely.
Like little things, we, when I was 12, 13 years old, I played for a really small soccer club, all right? But they were always really good at organizing trips. So, all the teams would go to Germany and stuff like that. It was fantastic. So, and it was 4-hour drive from my hometown. We would go to Bremen. All right. So to this tournament with 13, 14, 15 years old for a couple of years in a row. And these people took us to games of Werder Bremen. So I saw Werder Bremen play against FC Köln one time. And
isn't that where Aaron played?
So yes, he did. Okay. So we talked about that. But this was in the 70s. I don't even know if Aaron was born then. So we went to at least twice. I saw Werder Bremen play in those couple of years. I have been looking at the Werder Bremen scores ever since then. Every time, in the past, I would on Monday morning look at the newspaper, like, what did Werder Bremen do? Did they win? So there's always been, like a connection there, like a deeper involvement in soccer. And I still now, of course, you can watch it all the time. But, those were fantastic trips. There was so much fun and, friends for life. That's what soccer should be.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of my 2006 girls team. I coached them for 3 years.
It's a fun group.
And yes, it was really nice. And the thing was too, Jason, so they're all off in college now.
Yep.
And 2 weeks ago, a bunch of the girls helped out with our girls' skills school, our Zone 1 skills school. And then afterwards, the parents and the players, we all went to Woodcocks to have dinner with each other.
Love it.
Like, that's what it's about.
Absolutely.
That's what it's about. So there's there were 16 girls and 25 parents, and they have nothing, on paper, they have nothing to do with our club anymore. But they are connected with the team and the club for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely.
So, and that's what it's about. That's what it's about to me.
Absolutely.
And I think there are not enough people who understand that. I'm completely missed about that.
Have you talked to Pedro lately?
I texted him a couple weeks ago because he got a new job.
What's his new job?
He was with Scotland.
He was with Scotland.
Coach. He's at Tigres in Mexico now. He just last week.
Really?
Yes. So,
on the women's side?
On the women's side, yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah, interesting. I haven't talked to him personally yet. But yeah, so I'll talk to him this week. He's doing very well for himself, of course.
Good for him.
So great career. Yeah,
that's a great club.
So,
man.
Exactly. It's and sunshine every day.
I mean, he's done everything.
Being a Spanish guy and now being in Mexico, it's perfect for him. So a great career. So
because you guys were at Niagara together too, right?
Yes.
So you guys were at Niagara together and with
the Flash for a little bit. That
Are you doing anything else? Are you doing your goalkeeping stuff still?
No. So I really cut back. So I'm the technical director with the Stallions, and I'm also a content creator for a new soccer coaches website called Soccer Drive. It's been around for a couple of years.
Okay, Soccer Drive.
Yeah, okay. And I'm like one of the head content creators.
Is it coaching education and everything?
That's but we're still in the beginning phases.
Okay.
They also, these guys, and they're fantastic. They run Ice Hockey Systems, what is like the #1 hockey coaches website in the United States for ice hockey coaches.
Okay.
And they have partnerships with the NHL and all that, big guys and stuff like that.
Wow.
And that's a fantastic website. And last year or so, they asked me if I wanted to join them. They're actually out of Buffalo. They're out of Orchard Park.
Really?
But it's a lot of work, like doing a website. So when they built this hockey website, that took them 9 years to build it how they wanted it to be, and they just basically,
what's the content? Is it video? Is it
videos?
Blogging?
It's
everything, all of the above.
Everything, yes.
Wow.
And it's amazing. Like they have, and in the hockey side, they have the big time. Big time guys, you know what I mean? Because we needed to film some stuff and they couldn't do it because they were interviewing Michael Pekka on that date. And then they just did all these things with Scotty Bowman. And they have the technique coach, the skills coach of a bunch of the NHL guys. It also were like top players in the NHL, also does stuff with them. Like, so that's going, and Soccer Drive, the website.
Soccer Drive.
Yeah.
Is it already live?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's already live.
Drive.com.
So, but we're just building.
Love
it. Yeah.
There used to be some resources like that, like Inside Soccer,
Mm-hmm.
where you would go to it and it would be videos and it would be all the clubs in Europe or some MLS clubs, and it just like just drills.
Yes.
It's really just filming every single session and drills and explanations.
So,
I used to use that all the time as a reference.
The big problem with those websites is, people start them and are really enthusiastic, but they peter out because it's a lot of work. There's a lot, and these guys have been doing this hockey website for years, all right, and that's their job. So that's the big difference. You know what I mean? They've already have a proven success with this hockey website that's been going on for years. So, yeah, and that's fun. It's again soccer stuff, and I can do it from home. I could do it from the beach in Hawaii if I wanted to.
Exactly.
So, but
are you teaching still?
No, I'm not. Those are the only two things I do. I don't do any goalkeeper training anymore. No. I don't do any. No, I handed that over to John Netter.
Yep.
So he's doing all the stuff at Sportsplex right now with the goalie training. I'm getting old, man. I can still touch my toes, but getting back up is, and I'm one of those goalie coaches that wants to show and roll around.
Uh-huh.
And, it's not doing. Plus, it's nice to have a little bit of time off because I'm very busy.
I stopped doing goalie stuff 10 years ago when I was pretty much done with the Flash. Flash was like my last thing with goalkeepers because I was just like, I don't want to do it. And then I watched like Marcelo in here on Wednesday nights, and I'm like,
okay.
And he's still flying around.
I know.
And I'm like, what?
But that's how. But I can't do that anymore. Plus, I am so busy with other things. I miss it, and I love it, love doing it. But, So, but I'm still, a couple of weeks ago, I cracked a joke with the guys. Guys, I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you know right now, but I'm as of today, I'm retiring, and I'm only gonna do soccer stuff now. So, and they're like, huh? So that's where I'm at, because I will do this for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
And maybe less, maybe half of what I'm doing now, but it's the best, and the kids are fantastic, and parents are fantastic, and it's great to to see kids love soccer. I mean, you know, you see it here with these little guys. I love it.
Yeah.
Come on, I don't care if I have to sit on my knees with 6, 7-year-olds and goof around and whatever, and you know, ladies and centipedes. That's my line. Like the boy, I'm not a centipede. I don't know. They kind of look like one. You know, I love it. Teasing and the whole interaction, and love it.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Of course.
NPSL tryouts are Tuesday?
Monday. This Monday, and then there is another one in February 3rd. So if people are interested, just go to our website and, you know, or send me an email at rudy@buffalostallions.org, and I can help you there. Or contact Mark Spicone directly, mark@buffalostallions.org.
Okay. Are you guys looking for like college age players or
above 18?
Above 18.
Anyway, if there is a 33-year-old who can be the big leader, big number 10 on his back, and can really play still and is fit, you're in. So awesome. We want to keep it a Buffalo thing.
Yep.
I know there are teams in the NPSL. It's just 16 guys from other countries. We want to keep this, and it's the pyramid. At least in the club now we have a pyramid.
Yep.
Next year or the year after that, so 26, 27, we will have a women's team too, but we just wanted to start with the men's team first. So then we have the experience of that, and then the women's team, you know, comes right after that.
It's smart.
And then it's just like a pyramid, and hopefully one day, you know, we can graduate 4 or 5 2018s on the boys and girls side. Then we'll move on to the NPSL team or more.
Awesome.
You know, so that's really, so we just wanted to build that pyramid, and you know,
I think every club should do it. I think every club in the country could do it. If we had promotion and relegation, think about, I think every single club potentially in the country would start a professional team, because they could see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Right now, some of these pro teams,
they're
not making much money. They're treading water.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, Flash would lose how much money every single year. I always heard about.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
But, all right.
Yeah, they got the hot dog, man.
I hate soccer.